Go.
You good, Mr. Kushner? Welcome, everyone, to Township Council Workshop Meeting, Monday, June 12th, 2023. This meeting is now called to order. Councilman Murphy, would you be so kind to lead us in the flag salute?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Kraus, can you read the statement of public notice?
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. Notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 5th, 2023. Copy of the notice was mailed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the township clerk on said date. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you. At this time, call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Present.
Councilmember Murphy,
Present.
Councilmember Havletts,
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Present.
Council President Scoba.
Present. Let the record show that in attendance is Dr. Barack Healy from Passaic Valley High School, Mr. John Pace, our rec department, our fire chief, Mr. Kenny Sitchi, and the president of the library board, Ann Quaddy. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, we have a couple of items on our agenda before we get to the real items that are under the main report. And this evening, the first item we have on our agenda is a proclamation recognizing Pride Month. And it reads, whereas our nation was founded upon the declaration that all people are created equal, that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are among the inalienable rights of every person, and that each person shall be accorded the equal protection of the law. And whereas the LGBTQIA community has made great strides forward, but equality, inclusion, and acceptance have not yet been fully achieved. We must practice these values and teach them to future generations. And whereas this year marks the 54th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, the birth of Pride celebrations as we know them, and turning LGBTQIA Pride Month, we commemorate the events of June 1969 and commit to achieving equal justice under the law for the LGBTQIA community. And whereas we celebrate and support our LGBTQIA community's right to live their lives out loud during Pride Month and every month, as we celebrate Pride, we must continue to demand equal rights for all. Now, therefore, I, James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim June 2023 as LGBTQIA Pride Month in the Township of Little Falls, and we encourage all residents to celebrate the progress within our culture towards justice, equality, and full civic recognition for LGBTQIA persons, and to join us in the fights that remain to be won. Now, Council President, we have two other individuals in attendance with us this evening who are here to be recognized for two very well deserving things that they have accomplished. And there's two individuals this evening are Michael Vincent Post and Nathan Stone. And I'm going to ask each one of them to join me up here individually as I read a little bit about the two of them. And I'm first going to start this evening with Michael Vincent Post, who I'm going to ask join me up here in front of the room. So for those of you who don't know, Michael Vincent Post is stationed at the 177th Fighter Wing Air National Guard Base. Michael attended all Little Falls public grammar schools and will be graduating from Passaic Valley High School on June 22nd. After graduation, he will be leaving on July 11th to go to San Antonio, Texas for 8 weeks of basic training, and then he will go to Shepherd's Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas for his technical training in advanced fighter aircraft integrated avionics. Michael is expected to be home in March of 2024. Mike plans on attending a local college while serving in the Air National Guard for the next 8 years. He would like to deploy to at least Germany and Italy Air Force bases during his service. I want to congratulate Michael on everything that he has accomplished thus far and everything that he has yet to accomplish in his life. I want to thank him for everything that he has done. And we look forward to everything that he has to bring here back to Little Falls. Thank you for everything that you've done for us, and thank you for everything that you have to do. Hang out right here. All right, and the next individual I'm going to ask to join me up here this evening is Nathan Stone. Nathan Stone, known as Nate, has grown up in Little Falls, attending schools numbers 1, 2, and 3, or for those of us from Little Falls, 2, 3, and 1. Was an active participant in LFAC's baseball and soccer programs, on top of travel and club soccer teams. Nate is now graduating from Passaic Valley Regional High School with honors as a superintendent's ambassador and has a standout athlete on PV's track team. Nate has accomplished all of this while holding a part-time job, being an active volunteer with his Little Falls community and at the American Legion Post 108 as a member of their SAL while working towards and completing his Eagle Scout rank. Nate embodies what an Eagle Scout represents. For Nate's Eagle Scout project, he designed and constructed a much-needed and long overdue storage and shelving unit for the LFAC's baseball, softball, and soccer equipment. Prior to the installation of the organizational units, all of the sporting equipment and miscellaneous items were in unlabeled bags and boxes piled up on the floor of the equipment garage. Now, each sport has a designated section where all of the items are easily visible and safely accessible for coaches and players. Nate saw this as an opportunity not only to improve the logistics for the sports he loved playing growing up, but to also give back the programs that helped him grow into the young man he has become. Nate will be attending Montclair State University in the fall, where he will be studying business finance with a concentration in entrepreneurship. Whew. There's no doubt we will continue seeing him volunteering in our community for years to come. Congratulations, Nate, on everything that you've accomplished here. What a fun. I'd like to thank Mike and Nate for joining us this evening at our council meeting. Of course, everybody's welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting if you'd like. You're certainly welcome to stay for all of our exciting ordinances that we have on our agenda this evening. But you are also welcome to exit if you would like.
Thank you.
Not gonna hold that against the chief, right? Not gonna hold that against him.
At this time, can I have a motion to open the meeting for the general matters and agenda items?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by saying nay. Motion carries. Mrs. Kraus.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the council president. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the council president. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the council president will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. The floor is now open.
Hi, I'm Ann Kawadi. I'm a member of the Little Falls Open Space Committee, as well as the chair of the Passaic County Open Space Committee. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the mayor and council for their support of the Wilmore Road project, also known as Tank Park. I wanted to say that it's been a pleasure working with Councilwoman Christine Hablitz to make the Wilmore Park come to fruition. Being a member of the county open space, it's these types of projects that we look forward to sponsoring and approving, or at least making recommendations to the commissioners on, especially because Wilmore Road Park is one of the top parks in Little Falls. It gets used quite a bit, and there's always people there. So I wanted to commend you, Councilwoman Hablitz, on all the work and effort that you have put in, as well as the rest of you that have also taken the time to fill out the applications and reports and so forth. So I commend you all and really look forward to the project coming to fruition. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming before us this evening. Yes, that's a quite large undertaking by this governing body, and a huge amount of dedication of taxpayers' monies to go into a well-deserved park that's aged out. So we're looking forward to see that come soon. I guess it's also on our agenda tonight to be approved. So we'll see how that vote goes. Anyone else? Like, I see someone in the chat, Mr. Kusha.
Yes.
Mr. Apaza, can you hear us?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I couldn't see your first name. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Hi, my name is Vanessa Paza. I recently sent an email to the mayor and deputy clerk for the county application to receive funds for the municipal alliance. Part of the application requires a resolution to be passed, and I know I sent this very last minute, but it's because we made the decision very last minute. So I want to make sure that the resolution gets passed. If it wasn't able to be put on today's agenda, if it can be please put on the next agenda so we can move forward with the county application.
Yes, thanks for coming before us. Unfortunately, it was quite last minute, and I do have a personal rule that I do not like bringing something to the governing body, to the council members that last minute. They need time to review it, but it will be on our next meeting.
I understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Council President, if I may.
Mayor.
Sure. I would actually like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Apaza for really stepping up to assist the township in her role as becoming the new municipal alliance coordinator. She is going to do so at no cost to the township, and she is going to become the municipal alliance coordinator with no fee or cost or payment to her. This is something that is greatly appreciated because in the past, municipal alliance coordinators received a payment of $7,500 a year. Unfortunately, over the years, Municipal Alliance funding has dramatically decreased because it has largely been funded by revenues created by tickets that were generated from marijuana tickets being issued by police departments. Unfortunately, that funding source has dramatically decreased as a result of marijuana now becoming legalized. So as we see a significant decrease in what would be allocated towards Municipal Alliance funding, the funds that are going to be available for this type of for Municipal Alliance are going to decrease significantly. As a result, last year, the municipality was awarded approximately $8,700 in Municipal Alliance funding. By paying a Municipal Alliance coordinator about $7,500, the municipality was netting about $1,200 in Municipal Alliance funds. With the net of $1,200 in Municipal Alliance funds, there were all sorts of onerous restrictions being placed on the municipality with what we could do with the funds that were being allocated to the municipality. In fact, we had to get all sorts of clearance and all sorts of clarification as to what we could spend those funds on and what we could utilize those funds for. And it required all sorts of approvals. It became almost cost prohibitive to get this funding from the county. Ms. Apaza has agreed to continue to act in the role as the Municipal Alliance Coordinator moving forward at no cost to the municipality, so that if we do continue to get $8,700 in grant funding from the county for Municipal Alliance, that all of those funds, all $8,700 can be utilized for the benefit of the community in running Municipal Alliance events. So this will be a great benefit to the town. So I want to take this opportunity to thank her for stepping up in this role of Municipal Alliance Coordinator at no cost to the township. So thank you, Mrs. Plaza, for doing that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Kusia, is anyone else in the chat?
There's no one else.
And I see no one else come before us in the council chambers. May I have a motion to close to the public? So moved. Moved by Councilmember Vanchery. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Alice Rivera for 63 Whitney Street. 4 years ago, I came here when my son was 18. My son is a special needs, and today I come like an advocate for the state of New Jersey. I belong to New Jersey Council of Developmental Disability. It's a state and agency that help the state getting resources and service. Like a resident of Little Falls and also like a county community leader and advocate for the special need community, I just want to introduce myself that I'm here. And I also want to thank the mayor and the council 4 years ago, Mr. Pace, who created the champions. He was the league. My son is 22. He doesn't really participate because he's an adult. I just want to provide you my business card and also, so here, Mayor. I don't have enough coffee. I just want to introduce the council. I don't have a lot of copies, but in that, it's going to show how many disability we have in the city of Little Falls. It's only 1,000. It's going to show you that if you do anything for the special needs community, I want to be involved. I want to get involved with the community, anything that especially the housing. I know you have an announcement there for seniors, but we have seniors who raise grandchildren and son and daughter who's in the 50, 55. I'm here to help those residents. Sometimes they're getting in the 80s and they don't know how to get service for the seniors, like my son who's 22 and he's an adult. And I just want to let you know that anything that you do in the city, I want to get involved in housing, community service, any event or any activity. I want to be participating. I want to be involved in this community, the special needs, and also in the seniors activity. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I just want to thank you that you opened the doors 4 years ago for the recreation. Now I'm doing housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the council have any questions or comments? Mayor? Thank you for coming before us this evening, and I can assure you if the governing body does anything with special needs, we'll be reaching out to you. Okay, so can I have a motion to close the public?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Patel, second by Councilman Murphy. All those in favor, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, do so by saying nay. Motion carries. Mayor, quite a few resolutions here, 1 through 9. Would you like to start with, I don't think, want to start 1 or 2, and then continue.
Absolutely, Council President. The first item this evening is a capital budget amendment resolution. This one is fairly simple. It is simply a resolution that supports the ordinances that are being introduced this evening with respect to our capital budget. It, again, is simply in support of the ordinances that are going to be introduced because there were some modifications to them as compared to how they were originally going to be introduced this year. Are there any questions on that? All right, item number 2 is a resolution canceling the third quarter taxes on a property in town. And this resolution is for a disabled veteran exemption on a property within the municipality. And as is common and occurs from time to time, as disabled veterans apply for property tax exemptions, their exemptions will be triggered and taxes will be canceled on their properties moving forward. That is the case on this particular property here. And that is item number 2 on this evening's agenda under my report.
Just want to comment on item number 2. Has this been worked out with our tax collector? Is this the proper wording on this resolution? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely. Item number 3 is authorizing the award of township issued firearm to retired Police Lieutenant James Briggs. And as we have done in the past in this municipality, retired police officers have requested from time to time, whether it be a radio or a firearm or an item that has been issued to them by the municipality in the past. They have been able to make a request for an item that has been issued by the department. And former Lieutenant James Briggs has requested that his prior issued township firearm be issued to him moving forward. Of course, all proper paperwork and items in order to properly transfer it to him will be completed. And he is requesting that it be transferred to him. And item number 3 would be the municipality properly authorizing the award of his prior township issued firearm being transferred to him. Any questions with respect to item number 3? All right, item number 4 is bond ordinance 1460, the bond ordinance authorizing the undertaking of the 2023 road improvement program. And as has been traditional in the municipality for the past handful of years, each year we authorize the undertaking of a road improvement program to pave a handful of roadways. And I say a handful because the number of roadways varies from year to year depending on the length and width of the roadways. But the amount of money has remained the same. And we allocate funds to pave a number of roadways each year based upon the condition that each of them are in. And each year we ask for an updated sheet, and our engineers work in conjunction with our DPW to formulate a list of the worst roadways in town. And we work together to figure out the costs associated with the repavement of those roadways. And we will ultimately pave them if the bond ordinance 1460 is authorized. Any questions with respect to item number 4? All right, item number 5 is bond ordinance 1461, authorizing the construction of a municipal parking lot. And as has been discussed at length and after a public town hall, this is the authorization for the construction of the PNC parking lot. This would include the demolition of the 3 homes, as well as the improvement of the municipal parking lot where PNC parking lot currently exists. It will continue to be a parking lot, but it would be an improved parking lot for public parking for our downtown. Are there any questions with respect to item 14 or ordinance 1461, item number 5? All right, no questions on that. Moving on to item number 6, bond ordinance number 1462 is the authorization of the undertaking of various improvements to Wilmore Park. And as has been discussed, Wilmore Park has been a park that has been out of date for some time. That was originally or previously donated by Saturn. This would be the authorization to make improvements to Wilmore Park to, again, upgrade it to a more modern playground there. And this would fund the improvements to Wilmore Park. Are there any questions with respect to bond ordinance number 1462.
I don't have any questions, but I just have a statement to make with regards to something that our resident Iris said. I just wanted to let you know with regards to the improvements of Wilmore Park, we do take our inclusive demographic of residents into consideration. We are adding more inclusive swings, more inclusive equipment, and more inclusive ramps for our special needs residents. So going with what we have done before with the Champions League, we are having our most used park to have more inclusive equipment. Just wanted to let you know.
Next is item number 7, the bond ordinance number 1463, authorizing the acquisition of a new pumper fire engine, as was discussed in this year's presentation within the budget, was an acquisition of a new fire engine at company number 4. It is a new pumper truck there. And that is item number 7 under bond ordinance 1463. Are there any questions with respect to item number 7? Seeing no questions there, moving on to item number 8, ordinance number 1464, amending chapter 7 on-street regulations, parking on Muller Place. This would permit for limited periods of time, parking on the north side of Muller Place. In some of the prior amendments to the parking in the area of Muller and Arlington, parking on both sides of Muller was eliminated. In additional review of the parking in those areas, it was determined that continuing to allow parking on the north side of Muller, but for limited periods of time rather than all day at a time, allowing parking on the northern side of Muller should continue. And ordinance number 1464 would allow for that to continue for time periods rather than all day on end. And that is ordinance number 1464. Any questions from the council with respect to item number 8? All right, that's all that I have on item number 8. And then item number 9 is a discussion of proposed ordinance on licensing entertainment activities. And for item number 9, I will send it back to the council president and really over to our police chief for some additional discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. So Chief, you're requesting that we entertain a proposed license on entertainment activities. Can you give your reasons and tell us some background to why the council, this governing body, should entertain such permits?
Yes, sir, Mr. Council President. Last year, shortly after Chief Post left, we had an incident that happened up at St. George's Church. So St. George's, when they have their festival, they're good about notification and letting us look at their, operation plan and them contracting outside security. I guess the issue that we had was they sublet the property to another organization that had a festival that was unknown to law enforcement. It was unknown to the health department, and it was unknown to the building or fire officials in the town. As a result, we took about 20 or 30 noise complaints over the weekend. There were some parking issues, and quite frankly, it caught the department with inadequate staffing to deal with whatever public safety issue, may have arose up there. So in speaking with the municipal council and seeing what other municipalities do, we crafted the entertainment license. So it does twofold. One, it's going to get law enforcement, the health department, the building department, part of the pre-planning when people want to have these events. And then in the case like we experienced, it would grant law enforcement the authority to kind of end the event in response to them not getting the appropriate permits, not having a good safety plan, not having adequate security from a public safety standpoint.
This is a council members have questions regarding this proposed entertainment license permitting.
I do, Council President.
Okay, through the floor, Councilwoman Havelitz.
Thank you. So Chief, this would just be for larger festivals, bands. Would this include something like our concerts in the park? Or if you were having a christening with 200 people and a clown, would it include something like that? Or just really things that are?
I believe the way that it's written, and you can correct me, it's a gathering of 100 persons or more.
Right,
So-
through you, Council President, to obviously, this is a proposed ordinance. It isn't in the final format. But the concept was that it would capture big events like the chief was talking about. Obviously, that became a point of contention for the police department for their response and control of it. And also just plain, and I think the chief sort of touched on it, knowledge. When you have someone file a permit, you know what that person is planning on doing. This is what they're having. This is how many people they expect. This is the type of event they're having, who they're expecting to come. That then allows all of those departments the chief identified to be properly prepared. And if the permittee does not live up to those standards, then you have the ability to do something about it. Currently, the police department, the health department to some degree, and other departments in town are somewhat hamstrung because all they could do is enforce whatever the appropriate regulation is. So sure, they can go and they can say, it's too noisy, or they could say that these chafing dishes aren't properly placed out or something like that. But it would have been so much better to have that information ahead of time, so they walk in and they can just enforce the permit. And also the permit has a violation schedule to it, so you don't have to then make up the prepare the summonses or whatever it is. You can just rely on the permit itself. So going to your question, Councilwoman, the thought process is to capture those large events, but also to go to smaller events that happen throughout the town. So the image of the christening with the clown is a little disturbing, but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. But perhaps I'm in the wrong archdiocese. But going to that, I don't think the point of it is to go after the somebody using a VFW hall. I think the real issue is when somebody is having a block party, when they're having, we've had issues with house parties. Okay. So we need to be able to capture that so that the police department, the health department, the other departments have the ability to go to those places and say, you have not complied. And they can then proceed to enforce either the lack of the permit, or if they've gotten a permit, the terms of the permit. So it's still a working order, but that is the concept is not just large events, it's also the smaller events.
So,
Through the floor, Councilman Havelitz.
so in that being said, would a christening or a first birthday party with clowns at the American Legion with 100 people need to then take out a permit from the town at a cost?
I don't think the issue is those type of events per se. I think it's the places which already have some type of commercial enterprise, and if they're seeking to have the entertainment there, those places are captured. So the food establishments that now want to do some type of entertainment, or as I said, like the house party. But it's a difference. Clearly, if you're having people over for a christening, that we're not going to, I don't think the point of it is to permit that. But if somebody is going to get loudspeakers and invite, I just had this in town I prosecute in, where they had 300 people show up at a house for Memorial Day weekend, and they had 7 loudspeakers. And the gentleman who owns the house was saying, well, I didn't know I had to get a permit. Well, at some point when you got the 300 people and the 7 boom box, whatever it is, maybe you thought that should have been an issue. But that's the type of thing that I think the chief needs the ability to assist him to get those type of operations under control. We are not going after clowns.
So
This is not an anti-clown ordinance.
I actually think but that's okay.
So we recognize this is for discussion, and this will mold and change throughout this process. But Chief, enlighten me, if there is a party that's loud and I guess has a lot of people and everyone's walking on somebody's lawn, or if there isn't a bar in town that decides to put a band in,
Mhm.
and which attracts a large amount of people, your enforcement capability becomes limited because there is not a licensing permit at hand?
The enforcement actions that we would be able to take would be in regard to noise. But the noise ordinance is, we're going to issue a violation and we're going to serve it, but we have no ability to say we're revoking, we're ending the event. Now, the event has completely lost control. Right now, we can't do that if it's just noise. We could just issue a violation. We can ask, can you turn it down? You're in violation or noise ordinance. Here's the summons and here's your court date. But they can continue to play the loud music, and we can only issue subsequent violations with no immediate resolution to the problem. So if there was a permitting process that can be immediately revoked, obviously the fines probably can be a little bit higher with that violation. It may put some teeth into, our enforcement.
Are there any questions, other questions that the council may have regarding this discussion on entertainment licensing permit?
I just had one.
Council,
I know.
Councilwoman Patel.
Thank you, Council President. I know it's a draft, just so I can conceptualize it. Aside from backyard parties that might get out of control, what about events at like the ties? Like, would they be required to have a permit for each event that they're hosting there?
Right. So so that establishment, let's just say already that has bands and they hopefully will not have to go through this process. And I would think that the council would not buy into that. However, if an outside entity rented the ties, that could trigger maybe an issue.
I think in speaking with Councilman Wendell was if they were going to operate outside of the normal course of business of what they typically did. So the Tides is a rental hall and it has parties. But if you had maybe just a plenary licensed establishment, you were a bar, and now all of a sudden every Friday you're going to have live entertainment and bring a band in, that would be outside, the typical scope of what your operation was. Or if you're going to do karaoke night and, bring a DJ in now to that restaurant, that was, a very small pizzeria, that would be outside of the regular scope of what your business was. That would have to be a permitted event.
And I would just add through you, Council President, if any members of the council were interested in looking at what other towns do. Clifton for many years has had an entertainment license process, and it's been very effective in dealing with various places that had gotten out of control, most famously Bliss, right by Richfield Shopping Center, okay, on Allwood. That place was not shut down because of ABC violations, because of alcohol beverage violations, which they had as well. But one of the main things that had been out of control there and they needed to enforce was on the entertainment piece, because they had DJs coming in and they had entertainers coming in, and then they had 1,000 people showing up, and it was out of control. The enforcement mechanism there was not, which is normal enforcement mechanism would be your ABC violations. This set of circumstances was the entertainment violation, which allowed them to take it under control. So if you want to look at one that, Clifton's has been around for many, many years and they've been quite effective.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Just one more question.
Councilwoman Havelitz.
You mentioned the ties because they already have a catering facility. But one of our local restaurants / bars that has a trivia night, a karaoke night, they would need to obtain permits for those type of nights, even though they're mostly a restaurant with the bar.
I mean, I guess if you interpret the way that it would be written, then potentially yes, but it wouldn't be trivia night again is not or wouldn't be my concern with this. It would be, we're going to now shift to live entertainment. We're now going to have bands, and that when that entertainment now extends beyond the property, adversely affects our resources and public safety, and then causes, quite frankly, more of a nuisance for the people that are around it, because it's operating outside of what they typically did. That's what we would be more interested in protecting against.
Thank you. And thank you, Counselor. Yes, I would like to see some of those other towns and what they propose. You can do that for us.
So a concern as we go through this process would be our churches and our VFWs, American Legions, who count on some rental income through parties. We would not want to make this process cumbersome to get a permit. Or if someone was to go to rent to First Reform and want to rent out that hall and pastor would say, well, you have to go get a permit. And the person said, well, maybe I don't want to bring my party here. Like, we don't want, in looking through this process, we'd want to make this as easy as possible to not curtail rental income on our existing establishments. And Chief, we appreciate you bringing this to us. For safety is the foremost part of what we do here. So we do appreciate you bringing this forth. We understand that there's issues in town when certain establishments, when you can't regulate those establishments for the well-being of the residents in our community. The council, along with staff and along with the mayor, will have future discussions on this, and we'll see where this goes. Thank you. Thank you. Have a motion to approve resolutions A through D. So moved. Moved by Councilman Vanchery,
Second,
second by Councilwoman Hablitz. Mrs. Kraus, call for the resolutions A through D.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Have a motion to approve the request for Little Falls to PBA to hold their annual street fair.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a roll call for the street fair for the PBA.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1460.
Introduction of ordinance number 1460, an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Undertaking of the 2023 Road Improvement Program in by and for the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $500,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for June 26, 2023.
Thank you. Did I ask for a roll call on that? Yes, I did. Okay, Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1461. I didn't ask for a roll call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Call the roll on 1460.
Oh. You have to do a
Oh, I'm sorry. Have a motion for 1460.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. Call the roll on 1460.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, 1461, please.
Introduction of ordinance number 1461, an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Construction of a Municipal Parking Lot in by and for the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $500,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for June 26, 2023.
Motion for introduce 1461.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Abbott, second by Councilman Vanchery. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, 1462.
Introduction of ordinance number 1462, an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Appropriate an Additional Sum of $1,250,000 for the undertaking of various improvements to Wilmore Park in by and for the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to make a down payment, to appropriate a county grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such additional appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for June 26, 2023.
Can I have a motion to introduce 1462?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman
Second.
Patel, second by Councilwoman Abbott. This is a roll call for 1462. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havlet.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, 1463.
Introduction of ordinance number 1463, an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Acquisition of a New Pumper Fire Engine, including original apparatus and equipment in by and for the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $885,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for June 26, 2023.
Have a motion to introduce 1463, so moved by Councilman Vanchery,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Patel. This is a roll call. Please call the roll for 1463.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Abstain.
Councilmember Havelitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Mrs. Kraus, please call the roll for 1464.
Introduction of ordinance number 1464, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to amend Chapter 7 on street regulations of the Code of the Township of Little Falls with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for June 26, 2023.
Thank you. Have a motion to introduce 1464.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Patel,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Havelitz. Please call the roll for 1464.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Havelitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Councilwoman Havelitz, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to give a little report for the library. First, I'd like to thank the library for their attendance at the farmers market this week. They were able to get some library chart signups, and they also had a great little raffle. Thank you to the fellow council members who came to the market and who also signed up for library cards. Just some upcoming events for the library. Monday night is now going to be story time, starting on Monday, June 26th and running through August 14th at 7 p.m. with a guest reader each week. And this Saturday is a big summer reading kickoff at the library. The theme is Carnival this year, and there will be lots of entertainment, bounce house, cornhole, crafts, ice cream, and much more. So please come and join. It's going to be a very fun day. Lastly, I'd like to thank Jeffrey. He is new on our library staff. Every Friday, he's going to be having trivia night, a virtual trivia night. Last week I attended, it was I Love Lucy trivia. I wasn't so great at that one, even though I thought I knew some facts about I Love Lucy. But a little birdie told me that this week there may or may not be a Golden Girls theme. So you can join 7 p.m. virtually through the library. So thank you for that new event that the library is putting on. It's really great. Just a little update on the farmers market. We had another great week this week. This week we had Cousins Maine Lobster at the library, along with all our other at the library, excuse me, at the farmers market, along with all of our other great vendors. This season we are breaking attendance records with over 1,000 attendees at most of our markets. So it's just great to see the market just flourishing. This week we have an event with our own Mo and Jay's, which will have their second annual kids cupcake decorating contest. And one of our sponsors, UFC Fitness, will have a cardio kickboxing session on the lawn. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Murphy.
Thank you, Council President. Two things real quick. Sarah Goldstein, who's on our Domestic Violence Prevention Committee, has handed me a flyer and let me know that she's starting up the Little Falls Crafting Club. And she had asked if I could just share this at the meeting tonight. So every Tuesday, starting June 13th, which is tomorrow, actually, at 6 to 8 p.m. at the Little Falls Civic Center, she'll be having the Little Falls Crafting Club meetings and doing some knitters, crocheters, and all types of crafting there. And she had wanted me to let everybody know that this is pretty much at its capacity, which is a good thing. So it's $15 for 6 sessions, materials, and she will be looking to extend this beyond 6 weeks. But this is kind of the trial run. So just wanted to put that out there for everybody to put on their calendar if they're interested. Secondly, a few weeks back, I was approached by a couple of residents who were just asking me about the planning board and the meetings and how they were on Zoom previously and now they're just in person. And so I had brought up to the dais, and Council President was able to set a meeting with the chairperson of the planning board. And to my understanding, at their last meeting, they had some discussion on this and agreed that going forward, that the planning board would be streaming their meetings on Zoom. However, on advice from their council, you will not be able to comment. You'll have to come in person to comment. But it will be on Zoom. You will be able to stream it and see what's going on. So it's definitely a good step. And I'd like to thank Council President for making that happen. Other than that, that's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Before I continue, Councilwoman Havis, Councilwoman Murphy, where do we stand with the calendar?
We are working on getting sponsors for the calendar. We do have a few. We are going to be sending out letters to all of the businesses in town, seeing if we can get a few more sponsors to offset the cost for the calendar. So that's where we are currently.
Because my concern is that time starts to crush. It takes time to put all these events on this calendar, especially as this is the first year out.
Oh, yeah.
And leaving an event off becomes problematic, and having done calendars, we don't want to do that, especially with a holiday or something that the PBA is doing or something that an organization is doing. So I think we need to, any help that you want from me on this issue, please reach out.
Yeah.
And let's,
I think we had set a timeline for late July, early August to have most of our donors, if they're willing, to advertisers in there. So I believe we're on track for that.
thank you. Councilman Vanchery.
Thanks, Council President. Few things on my end. I just want to say thank you because we haven't had a meeting in a few weeks, but just to everyone that helped out to make the Memorial Day weekend activities all come together, from the concert in the park that Friday night, as well as the parade. Special kudos to the Little Falls Police Department, Little Falls DPW, the CERT team. And I also want to call out Ronnie Stelfin and DPW, and also Officer Al Panola from the Little Falls Police Department. They were, lockstep with me, coordinating everything on Friday and Saturday, and just, thank you for all that support. Also, thank you, Mayor, for earlier reading the Pride Flag raising, the Pride Flag month proclamation. We just had the Pride Flag raising ceremony last week as well. Thank you to that. I do want to mention too, this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the American Legion post on Van Nest, it is going to be the Flag Day ceremonies. It's taking place at 7 p.m. because of the graduation taking place at 5. So if anyone is around, please join us. With the Boy Scouts will be leading that, along with the American Legion. And I know members of the fire department are going to be there as well to oversee everything. So if you are around Wednesday at 7 p.m., it's the Legion on Van Nest. I do also want to mention congrats to Michael Post and Nate Stone tonight being recognized. We've gotten to know the two of them over the years. They're two great kids, and the future's bright for both of them. Lastly, I just want to mention that, graduations this week. Congratulations to all the grammar school students that are graduating from School 1 this coming Wednesday, and also to all the students graduating from Passaic Valley High School. Congratulations to, of course, the kids, but also their parents and the rest of their family. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilwoman Patel.
Thank you, Council President. Just two quick things. The Clifton Health Department is holding a free vascular ultrasound screening on Wednesday, June 21st, from 2 to 4 at the Clifton Health Department. And also every Wednesday throughout the summer, all the way until November, they're going to have a veggie mobile truck at the Clifton City Hall. That's from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Where you could get all of your fresh vegetables, just in case you're unable to come to the farmer's market in Little Falls on Sunday. This could be a good alternative. And that's it, Council President.
Thank you. Thank you for reporting that. So ice cream social, 628, 1 to 3 at the Civic Center. We're going to have a DJ. And as I mentioned last time, we were struggling with the last flavor. And a senior reached out to Councilwoman Hablitz and said you should have a low sugar ice cream. So the third flavor will be a low sugar ice cream. I don't know what flavors they come in, but we'll definitely have that and meet that request by that senior. And that's on the 28th, 1 to 3. Request to council members and mayor, if you could come by, I'll be at the Civic Center. About a couple of days ago or a week or so ago, I attended TREPS at the school along with Councilman Vanchery and Councilman Hablitz. I don't know if the other council people and the mayor stopped by, but it was always great to see the entrepreneurs of the students there selling their wares and their goods. I was really impressed. Being in business all my life, there was an individual there, 3 boys selling bags, small recycled bags, and I purchased one. And I thought I should go back and purchase another one. And they upped the price by $2. And the young gentleman, I said to him, geez, you upped the price by $2. And he said, Mr. Supply and Demand. I thought that was really great. Gave him my business card and I said, call me in about 10 years when you get out of school. Senator Corrado has a bill, S3906. This bill is to grab monies that are leftover COVID relief federal monies that are sitting in our state coffers. According to the bill, if this bill was to pass in its current form, the Township of Little Falls would get over $4 million to do somewhat as they please with it. This bill is only being supported by one side of the aisle. I suggest that myself and Councilman Murphy or Councilman Patel pay a visit to Senator Corrado and to see the whole workings of this bill, to find out why the other side isn't supporting it. I can only imagine that whenever there's monies that are available to politicians, if there was $1 million that came into our coffers, the 5 council people, each one would have a different project. Each one would have a different thought of where that money should be spent. The mayor would have a different thought, and the staff would have a different thought. So we need to really explore this, because I would love to see the Township of Little Falls get some of that federal COVID relief money into our coffers. So either one of you could reach out to me, and not only will we go see Senator Corrado, but we'll go see the Senator Poe on the other side of the aisle to see where they stand on this bill. And if need be, I'd be willing to go on a road show and go down to Trenton and work the aisles and work the rooms in support of this township of getting those monies. Okay, moving on.
Council President.
Mayor?
Just one update for the town, starting June 29th and every Thursday thereafter, our ABC summer concerts in the park will be starting. Everybody in town, of course, is welcome. This year, ABC announced that our concerts in the park will be live streamed each Thursday. So there will be information coming out about joining the live stream for anybody who is interested in viewing the summer concerts remotely, who cannot make it. Of course, I encourage everybody to be there in person. Certainly a lot of fun being there for everybody who wants to hear the music live. But if you're unable to be there, you'll be able to view the summer concerts live stream. So starting June 29th, all the way through August 31st, every Thursday, weather provided, there will be a summer concert in the park. So hope to see you there.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I have a motion to open meeting to the public for agenda items?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. There's a voice vote. All those in favor do so by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Mrs. Kraus.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. The floor is now open. Mr. Kusia, anyone in the chat that'd like to come before us? Is anyone in the council chambers that'd like to come before us? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Hablot, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss public safety matters? No action will be taken.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Patel. All those in favor, do so
Aye.
by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. We could be about 10 minutes or so.
I think that person.
Have a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilwoman Havelitz. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Discussion for safety, public safety was discussed. No action was taken. Have a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. I want to thank the staff for assisting in putting this meeting on. This meeting is now adjourned.